Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be March 2022 recap. My March 2022 recap. This makeup that's on my face I actually didn't film, but I did do an Instagram reel with it, so if you're interested, go check that out. My Instagram's at Laura Clark Makeup. It's as inventive as my YouTube channel name is. And I used the Sydney Grace and Temptalia Radiant Reflection Palette. Okay, so if you haven't watched one of these videos from me before, I just started this, so this is my January, February, third monthly recap, but basically I split it up into categories of what I bought, what I tried, what I loved, and then I also talk about what I read, but I forgot to grab the books that I read, so I will have to do that. Anyway, yeah, let's just start with what I bought this month. So I also, if you again don't know, I have 3 makeup purchases that I'm allowed to make per month. And this month I only made 2. Technically I made 3, but 1 I canceled. So only actually 2. When Makeup Geek announced that they were closing and they had all their shadows on a discount, I made an order because I was like, I've never tried Makeup Geek shadows. I really want to try them, blah, blah, blah. And then I ordered a few. And then it was taking a while for my order to ship, which wasn't a problem, but it just let me think about it. And I was like, do I really want these, or am I just buying them because like, they're like, I won't ever be able to get them anymore. And then I was like, do I really want a whole bunch of neutral single shadows? I was like, not really. Honestly, kudos to them though. I emailed them to asking if they could cancel my order. They got back to me super quickly and canceled it, and I was like, amazing. So that was nice. But the 2 other orders that I made a Pretties for Your Face order. One of my friends on Instagram, Artie, their Instagram handle is Artie the Android, I believe. I will put it on the screen. They did a collaboration, I believe 2 collaboration shadows with Pretties for Your Face. Anyway, I saw that they posted it and I was like, I want to support them, and so I just made an Pretties for Your Face order. A good number of people that I follow on Instagram use Pretties for Your Face, and I was just like, you know what? Let me try it. So I made an order for them. It has now shipped, but it has not arrived to me yet. Then I also made a Colourpop order. I don't know what came over me, but I bought some things from Colourpop, okay? And I'll probably do a video or a haul or maybe something along the lines when that comes in. In terms of like replacement things that I bought, I thought that I was going to be done with replacing things, but we've continued that. All my skincare ran out all the same fucking time this month. So what did I buy? I replaced my cleansing balm. This is the Sephora Melting Cleansing Balm. I do not like this. I do not like this at all. It has the texture of like legitimately Vaseline, like petroleum jelly, and I don't feel like it emulsifies very well. It does remove my makeup, which is bare minimum, I feel, for a cleansing balm. But I feel like it leaves a film behind, like it doesn't wash off really cleanly. Like it does the job, I'll use it, but I wouldn't recommend it or repurchase it again. You do get like a good amount in here, like it's a pretty large tub. But I would recommend the Inkyless Cleansing Balm or the e.l.f. Cleansing Balm over this. And the Inkyless Cleansing Balm I don't even really like that much either. But yeah, I don't love that. I also bought a retinol. This is the Inkyless Retinol. And I use this once a week. I've only used it like a few times so far, like maybe 3 times, and I do like it. I feel like it does really make a difference in my skin. I feel like exfoliating for me is my #1 priority for my skin. That's like the one thing that helps me with breakouts. So I do like this, but I don't know if I would use it more than once a week. I don't really know anything about retinol, but I actually have been quite enjoying it. I also repurchased the hyaluronic acid plus B5 and niacinamide 10% plus zinc 1% from The Ordinary. I like these. I feel like it helps with hydration and like oil production and stuff like that. And those are probably like my 3rd or 4th bottles. I buy The Ordinary ones because I like the like dropper better than the packaging of the Inky List. Not that I've tried the Inky List ones. I also ran out of cleanser, so I repurchased the CeraVe Foaming Facial Cleanser. My girlfriend and I use this. I use this at nighttime. She uses it anytime she washes her face, but this is, again, one that I've used for years and years and years. And it's just like no frills. I couldn't ask for anything more from a cleanser. It's affordable. It lasts us a while, like A++. I also bought, this isn't really a replacement, but I bought a nail polish. I haven't bought a nail polish for a couple of months, but this is the Essie Expressi Quick Dry Nail Color in the shade Buns Up. It's a like light beige basically, and it's like a tone deeper than the color of my skin, and I really have been enjoying it as like a nude polish, which I don't really have many of. I love this nail polish, like the Essie Expressi line. It dries down super fast, and I find I have 2 other shades. I have this green one in the shade Precious Cargo Go. Anyway, I feel like these 2 last a really, really good amount of time on my nails. This one in dark brown, it's the shade Take the Espresso. I don't love this one as much. I don't feel like this one lasts as long, but these 2 last the same length of time, and I will definitely get more colors of this. I love those nail polishes. And is that all? And that is all. Those are all of the replacement non-makeup things that I bought. So in terms of what I tried this month that aren't those things, let's see. Let's keep it on skincare, I guess. This is the e.l.f. moisturizer. I bought this, I think, in the end of February, and I just opened it in March. So this is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Face Cream with Hyaluronic Acid and Peptide Complex. This I really enjoy. I like the packaging. It feels like sturdy, and it is nice. I feel like it's not super, super thick, but it's definitely not like a lightweight moisturizer necessarily, but I don't feel like it makes my skin feel greasy. It sinks into my skin. I have been enjoying it, and it is affordable, which is always a good thing. I also tried 2 primers. This is the Huda Beauty Matte Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. I bought this a while ago, and I just ended up opening it this month. I like it. I don't feel like it's as effective at oil control as my Makeup Forever one, so I don't think I'd repurchase this, and I feel like there's a possibility that this is being discontinued because it was on sale when I bought it, so you never know. I also bought the Wet n Wild, or tried the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. This I really like, but I don't know that I would repurchase it necessarily. It's definitely, or blah, blah, blah. It says it's a silicone-free primer, but it has like a slight feeling, gives the feel of what a silicone primer feels like. I love the way my makeup applies over this. It's not overly hydrating, but it is a good base for makeup. It just doesn't like blow me away, you know? But it is definitely very affordable. I mean, it's Wet n Wild, but I feel like I'm going to go through this really fast because I feel like I use a good amount of it when I use it, and it's only 25 mils. It's not like a full 30 ml tube, so we'll see. Let's see. In the Beauty Bay order that I made at the end of February, this was a free gift with purchase. This is the Beauty Bay Brush Up Brows Brow Soap. I've used this, I think, in another video. I used it in 2, but then one got, like, the file was corrupted or whatever. This I have been enjoying. mentioned it before, but I like regular soap better than this, but I think this is like a convenient option for a soap brow type product. If you don't want to use a regular bar of soap, or if you're going somewhere. I took this when we went away for the weekend. It was so much more convenient than what I usually do, which is putting my bar of soap in a plastic baggie. So this was really nice to have. It's a little bit thicker and it doesn't set down as securely, I feel like, as soap brows do, but it does last a good amount of time. So I think this is like, I don't know, a good affordable option for like a soap brow type product, but I haven't tried any other type products like this, so I don't really have much to compare it to, honestly. In terms of palettes that I tried this month, I tried a good amount of palettes actually. So the Odin's Eye Hella palette in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist. I've done a first impressions and 3 looks 1 palette with this, which I will link down below. I think this palette is beautiful. I wish that this green was deeper, but other than that, I really like this palette and I feel like it's super, super versatile and really great for spring. Is it my favorite Odin's Eye palette? No. And I still like Club Nebula more, but I think that this is really great, especially if you don't like or prefer super deep eyeshadow. I think this is a really, really good spring palette, actually. And I really like Odin's Eye shadows. I think they're really nice. The mattes and the shimmers are super nice, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. I also used, for the first time, the Colourpop Limoncello palette. I really, really enjoyed this palette. I think it's a really nice neutral color story. I think I'm going to get so much use out of this anytime I just need to have a neutral look. I actually love the packaging of this. It feels like very sturdy and luxe. I like that they're doing the bigger pans now, and I have no complaints about it thus far. And I got this, I think, for like $8 or something, so A++. I also tried the Beige Lost in Los Angeles palette and then Get Ready With Me as well. I'll link all the corresponding videos in the description box. I think this is such a great, affordable pastel palette. I don't know if you can like still get this, if it's still around, but if you can and you are craving pastels, especially with the release of the Natasha Denona pastel palette, this is so, so nice. And I also tried some Colored Rain palettes, which I had bought a while ago, like end of December, and I just got around to trying them this month. So underrated. Like, legitimately, Colored Rain slaps, okay? I love Colored Rain shadows, and they do not get enough hype. And it seems like they're kind of moving toward a more affordable price point, which I think is great. So I tried the Botanical Palette, which is like a warm, plummy color story with a pop of green, and the Rose Garden Palette, which is similar thing, rosy, neutral leaning color story with a pop of green. And then I also tried the Rebellious Nudes palette. Of course, I've already gotten the Outside Dirty, but this I think is going to be one of my new go-to neutral palettes because I love the range of depth. Look at the range of depth, the range of tones, and these shimmers in the top row are glorious. They are so nice. So I think Colored Rain is so underrated, and I would really encourage you to check them out, and I am so excited to see what they're doing in the future. And then in terms of what I've been loving this month, a good amount of palettes again. So at the beginning of the month I was still on the Beauty Bay Sunset Horizons kick. Again, I will scooch over to show you the looks that I did. I believe I did, again, I always plug it, but any makeup that I do 90% of the time, if I do makeup off camera, I post it to my Instagram stories, and I have a highlight called Makeup of the Day. If you want to check out what I do off camera, 9 weeks. So I did I love this like a purple look using the like really dark purple shade in here and some Shine by SD shadows. And then I believe and then I also did a blue look, like a periwinkle blue look, which I thought was really, really fun and nice. I like this palette so much because it's so versatile. Like all of the looks that I did with this early this month and like late February are so different, so fun. Like I love this palette so much. I also have been focusing on using my Natasha Denona Metropolis palette because I don't know, for whatever reason, I just feel like I neglect this a little bit, and so I really wanted to give it some good use this month, and I really have been enjoying it. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, but you know what? Doesn't mean I can still use it. And I've really been thinking a lot about Natasha Denona's formula and my true thoughts on it, and I like it, but I still wish that this palette had more depth because I pretty much reach for another palette with deeper mattes every time I use this, and for the price and how many shades are in here, that's a little bit disappointing. So I've been loving using it. Okay, hold on. I've been loving using it with the Melt Smoke Sessions palette, using like these two deeper greens to deepen up like the green looks that I've been doing with this palette. I think it's like the perfect companion palette for the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, honestly. And I've also been using this with the gold palette a lot. Again, discontinued, but I have been using it with like this deeper brown to deepen my crease, and then using the shade Sparks as like an inner corner highlight. I think that these two palettes make a very good pairing, if I do say so myself. So I've done many orange, like warm toned looks. I've done a fair number of warm orange tone looks and grungy green looks and like neutral looks with this palette. And I've really loved how they all have looked. I also did a really bright blue look with this palette, which was really fun. I wore it to a concert, my first concert post-COVID, and I will continue to use this more in April because I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I kind of want to go through it and use every single shimmer shade. So that's kind of my little project for myself going forward. I also have been loving this Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in Frog. I mentioned this in my, I guess I can go back into the middle. I mentioned this in my video where I talked about products that I want to get more use out of, and I kind of, after making that video, I kind of, you know, brought it back into the forefront of my mind, and I've been trying to make like a conscious effort to use it whenever I can. So I even used it today. It's on my inner corners, it's tapped a little bit on my lid. I find that it's a really beautiful like sparkly topper that is pink but also can go with neutral looks because it's not super pink, it's like pretty sheer. So I've been really enjoying this, and I have had many Colourpop Super Shock shadows dry out on me, so I want to use it before it goes, you know, it dries up and isn't what it once was. I also been loving two highlighters this month, the Wet n Wild Megaglo highlighter in the shade Blossom Glow. It's what I'm wearing again today, and I don't know what it is and why I suddenly decided to like pull this out of my collection again and rediscover it, but I just have been loving it. It's like the perfect icy pink highlighter that gives you a glow, but it's not too much. I don't know, I just really, really, really love this, and every time I do any like pink look, this has been what I've honestly been reaching for so much. I've also been obsessed with the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter in the shade Chills. I bought this on sale. I think I got this for like $14. It's a beautiful sparkly blue, icy blue highlighter, and anytime I do blue or green looks. I've been reaching for this so much. I'm so happy that I bought it. I have no buyer's remorse at all. This is a prime example of something that I wanted for a really long time. It went on sale, I bought it, and I'm so glad that I did. And finally, I also have been really loving the Melt Monarcha blush palette. When I got this, I wasn't sure that I was going to love it because initially the shade selection didn't really wow me and the blush formula didn't really wow me. But I find myself reaching for this blush palette so often that I have to like choose not to use it every day. I love this like orangey, almost like mustardy toned blush. It's so beautiful. This is such a nice like lighter pink. This is such a beautiful like hot pink. I don't know, I love this so much more than I ever thought that I would. And I do find that the blushes, a lot of the lighter blushes in here can be built up. Still wish that there was a little bit more variation, especially across these three, but this has been like a very surprising love, and I'm actually super, super glad that I have this. Oh, you know what? I also tried, now I'm realizing now, that I also tried the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. I don't know why, I totally forgot to write this down, but this was a gift to me from my girlfriend for Christmas, and I love it. I cannot wait to dive more into it. It's definitely a lighter palette for me. I do wish that there was a little bit more depth, but the shimmers in here, I mean, so beautiful. The look that I did for the first time using this palette, I was in love with it. Absolutely in love with it. And then moving on, typically at the end of my monthly recaps, I like to share a little bit about things that I almost bought or things that really tempted me. And there was a good amount of things this month, some of which I actually bought. For some reason, I had a really strong hankering for the Star Wars and Colourpop palettes. I don't know why. I was not interested in them before at all. And then suddenly I was like, I want those so badly. Did I buy those in my Colourpop order? I might have. I also, not really related to any like new releases or something, but I've had an increasing desire to buy Patrick Ta's cream and powder blushes. I don't know if it's because I've been watching more people who talk about them or what it is, but I just desire them so deeply. They're so like succulent to me. I don't know. Patrick Ta's a brand really makes me want products that I normally wouldn't really be drawn to. I also almost bought Auric Glow Lust and their new like lip balm mask thing product that they released this month. When they had free shipping to Canada and the US, I almost ordered those two things. I don't know what held me back, but I was just like, it's so expensive. I'll do it maybe in the future, but not right now. The Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette released this month. It's a new indie brand. They have been sending out PR to a lot of people that I watch, and the shimmers in there look really, really beautiful. A green neutral grungy color story always intrigues me. And I almost bought it, but I didn't end up buying it. I might in the future, but you never know. The NARS and Make It Forever foundations that released, I also have really, really been wanting to try, but I think I'm going to try to finish up like maybe one or two foundations that I already have before I buy any new ones. And then the brand Reza Beauty, R-E-Z-A, I've seen, again, a few people talk about them, and their blush palette that they have looks stunning. stunning. The packaging, stunning. The bright shades, beautiful. And again, I almost bought it this month, but I didn't. All right, and then finishing off this monthly recap by reviewing some of the books that I've read. Well, actually not some, all of the books that I read. So I finished 4 books this month, which is crazy town. I finished the book Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. I talked about this in my last month, February wrap up, that I was reading this, but I hadn't finished it yet, and I finished it early, like March 3rd or something like that. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was really like hit me deeply. It's one of the first books that I've ever read that you can really tell that a queer person wrote it, that it was written from a queer perspective. And I'm not trans, I'm not a member of the trans community. This deals a lot with gender identity and your identity as a trans person in society and themes like that. But regardless, I could still connect with a lot of topics that were brought up in the book and things that were, you know, discussed as a queer person, and I just really felt it and connected with this a lot, and I really appreciate this book. I think it's a joyous book to read, honestly. Well, maybe not. It's not a joyous book. I deal with a lot of heavy subjects, but if you're a queer person, I would recommend, and you're trying to read more queer authors, I would really recommend checking this out. I really enjoyed this a lot. And then this month was the month of TJ Klune for me and my new obsession with him. I read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and this, I posted about this on my Instagram stories. This book is the literary version of a hug. It is the most wholesome, heartwarming, just sweet book that I have ever read, and it was, again, March has not been like the greatest month. I've been going through a lot of like work and stuff and like in my personal life, but it's kind of just like everything I needed. I read it so quickly, I couldn't put it down, but it's not so wholesome and sweet in like an annoying way, you know? It's just like you can't even fault it because it's just so beautiful and so cute. It's queer, it's like magical realism, it's like fantasy light, I want to say, and it's so sweet. Again, I would recommend anyone to read this, especially maybe if you're not super into reading. I think it's just such an easy, light read. So nice. And then my roommate had his next book, or I don't know if this came up before or after, but I also borrowed from her Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. And again, I read this so quickly. It's still super sweet. It deals with more like death. It deals with death in this book, so it's a little bit not quite as sickly sweet as The House in the Cerulean Sea, but I actually think I preferred this one more. The way that the characters' relationships develop between all the different characters and the like character development of the main character is so just like sweet and nice, and it's another queer book, and honestly I want to read everything queer. That's like the only thing I want to read, and again I would recommend this to everyone. TJ Klune has been like such a love this month. And then I also read Verity by Colleen Hoover. My girlfriend is really into Colleen Hoover, and I kind of just read them when she's done reading these books. And again, I breezed through this book. I read it so quickly. I literally could not put it down. I've only read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, so this is the second Colleen Hoover book that I've read, and it's more of a thriller than like a romance, I want to say. Basically, I didn't even talk about what the TJ Klune books were about, but you know what? I don't even want to tell you. Read them, okay? Just read them. Regardless. Don't even read the synopsis. Just start reading them. But this book is basically about an author who is commissioned by a famous author's wife to finish her book series because she got into an accident and can't finish it by herself, is essentially like the premise of this book. It's twisty and turny and it's dark, like it's quite a darker mood in this book, which I love. I love a good like dark thriller. Maybe it's a little bit predictable, but in the same vein I like couldn't stop reading it, and thrillers to me are just kind of like candy. Like I don't even care if they're predictable, like I kind of just like love reading them, and I honestly I enjoyed that. If you like thrillers, I think it's a good option. So I had a good reading month this month, hopefully continuing on in April. I really hope to keep on with my read and finish my goal of, my unofficial goal is to finish 3 books a month, just because I really enjoy reading and I want to make it like somewhat of a priority, you know, to just like continue reading and not let that, you know, it's easy for me to kind of forget about it and not do it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. That's all. I finally wrapped it up. I really enjoy making these videos and it seems like people like watching them, so I always thank you for watching any of my videos, but especially this one if you've made it this far. I post videos hesitantly. My schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Sunday. I don't always strictly follow that, but I do pretty much always post 3 videos a week if you'd like to, you know, keep in touch. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see you in my next one. Bye!